who's ready? So your job is to speak 1 to 2 minutes on the topic that you're going to be given. So today I have topics that are not related to overachieving, and there's only one topic that is related to overachieving. So who's going to be the volunteer? Yes.
I already have a role, but I'll go.
Wayne, come on up. You're always up. Come on, Wayne. Come on, Wayne.
There are like 7 questions ready, so you can pick somewhere between 1 to 7.
Oh, nice. Give me number 5.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Tracy, could you tell us what is your one of your bucket list item?
Oh, nice, nice. Bucket list item. The first thing that comes to my mind, well, there's 2 things that actually come to my mind. And this all happened from a trip to Seattle that Karen and I took in whatever year, 2006, 2007, something like that. We took a trip to Seattle. And we went through the bay in a tourist type boat. And we went to the San Juan Islands. So seeing all of that made me want to go on an Alaskan cruise, because right as we got in the bay, we saw this big blue well right beside the boat. As we went further out, we saw like 10 or 11 bald eagles on a little island. And as we went further towards San Juan Island, we saw a pod of orcas that were actually breaching the water. And that inspired me to think about what would it be like to be on an Alaskan cruise where you can see that all the time. So that is one of my bucket list items, is to take a cruise, an Alaskan cruise. Thank you.
David?
Okay.
Number, except 5, 1 to 7.
Number 7.
Number 7. What's the advantage of being overachiever if you are overachiever, and what's the disadvantage you think of being overachiever when you're not overachiever?
I'm not sure that I would classify myself as an overachiever, but let's just say that I will in order to respond to this question. I think the advantages of being an overachiever are you can do things that you don't think you can do. And so you just try, you take a step forward. I was so impressed by Karen's speech. She did that. She said, I'm going to make it through this no matter what the pain, and she did that. And I think being an overachiever can take us into new territory, broaden ourselves, reach potential that we didn't think that we had, and those kind of things, and open up new vistas and make sure we get our bucket list accomplished like Tracy's going to. The disadvantages of being an overachiever are increased stress, increased anxiety probably, because we probably put a lot of pressure on ourselves to do those kind of things that we didn't think we could do. And so those would be my advantages and disadvantages to being an overachiever. Madam Toast.
Left, 1, 2, 3, 6. That's the rest of it.
6. Okay. The country that I will for sure to visit is.
When I was graduating college and I was thinking about a job, I really had in mind that I'd like to go to Australia. And it just really kind of fascinated me, the whole country itself. It had the great center area, which was dead and dying or whatever, and then along the coast were unique situations. And I did read up a little bit about it, and I found out later on that probably a better selection would be New Zealand. It had everything that Australia had, but it was more compact, and you had shorter travel times. So I kind of changed my thought then. I thought, well, Australia's be nice, but boy, that New Zealand, that's kind of really fascinating. So if you get a chance, make a comparison between the two, and see if you would pick New Zealand over Australia. I still have a little bit of time to talk, so I looked at my clock there. Talking about overachieving, recently I was in contact with College Advantage, which saves money for children. and I started accounts for them. And I can't explain to you how satisfied and proud I am of myself. I'm gonna send them some information. They're gonna use some statements I made as an advertising thing for good. But I had 14 accounts, and I have 3 that are graduates now, and I have 3 more that are in school, and I have, there's a total of 14.
That's great.
So I'm really proud of that.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to enumerate. I started to look at the amount of money that transacted through that, and it's amazing. I never saw it because I was doing it every month from a paycheck.
Yeah, yeah.
So give
That's
some
great.
thought to the time value of money and what you can do in small ways, but do it continuously.
That's great.
Oh. Now you can choose between 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 4.
No, which one do you want to take?
Which one would you like to choose? Number 4? It's a secret.
It's not the way the game is played.
Give me number 4.
Okay, number 4. I am. That's it.
You gotta look into the camera too and say it that way. I am.
There's a book like that, I Am What I Am.
Oh.
No, that was Green Eggs and Ham.
Popeye. I am what I am.
I am. Well, I got inspired by Karen's speech, and she went through a little bit rougher stuff than I've been through. However, I had my left shoulder replaced. So what happens in baseball after 10 million throws is that cartilage in your shoulder gets worn down to the bone like a wagon wheel, click, 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 click. So it's not so bad. I could go about there. So I said, well, what if I want to play golf? So I go get the shot. Bingo, cortisone. Felt like oil. Put oil. Get it going. However, it went in about, see, where are we, 2008. I said, well, you're a good candidate for it, but here's what we're going to do. The easy version. Basically, I'm going to cut your arm off, put it over there. We're going to dig out all this stuff in this humerus.
Oh, mackerel.
And we're going to take this silver thing, that's how I used to get to the airport, like that. I'm going to pound it down in there and then put cement around it. And then I'm going to get this plastic thing, see, and I'm going to sew it right there. And then we're going to start getting it all loosened up again. So I said, all right, I'm in. I said, can I play golf? November, can I play golf by May? He said, yes. So, I think. So, I went in there, and the hardest part was the first, they do the spine, or whatever they call it. And this guy had to be a rookie. So he took out the thing, said, this won't hurt a bit. And he kept jabbing me. And I'm screaming, crying. I said a few 4-letter words. And I said, oh, I'll get it. So we got that done. So then you're out. And then they do it. And then the next, feel anything because you got the button. The button is the heavy-duty painkiller. So every 30 minutes you get hit. I didn't even feel it like that. Anyway, to make a long story longer, after 6 weeks in the cast that sits like this, then you go to the physical therapist. So a friend of mine, or a friend I met, friend of a friend, had both done motorcycle accidents. He said, I'll give you a little secret. Take a half a Percocet when you go to physical therapy. You'll get a lot more out of it. It won't hurt. Good idea.
Yeah.
However, Prince, don't miss Percocet with Valium. That's the problem. Can't mix those two together. So I didn't do that. But I took a lot of Percocet. But anyway, so after 6, our thing was just, wrestling when you tap out. So I would say, all right, you can stretch it and move it as far as you can. But when I tap out, I stop. All right? So she would go all the way and I'd stop. So 6 months later, I was on the golf course.
Oh.
And that's the end of the story.
I am.
Now you can choose between 1 to 3. 3. For me, politics is.
Oh,
You hear that groan from my husband? For me, politics is fascinating, annoying, enlightening, infuriating, funny. So I only watch funny stuff. I watch Trevor Noah, who took over for Jon Stewart when Jon Stewart left The Daily Show. I record him every night. And after that is a guy named Larry Wilmore, who took over for Stephen Colbert when Stephen Colbert left. So I record him every night. And in the morning when I'm on the treadmill or having my lemon juice with water because I gave up coffee, I watch their version of politics. It makes me laugh, it keeps me up to date, and I don't have to listen to all the bile that's being spewed into the air by our current political climate. I think politics is necessary. I think we need strong leaders. I just think every few years, we don't have any.
All right.
Around between
1 and 2. Your choice.
One of the colors representing the best is.
Oh, a color that represents me the best is orange. And that just springs to mind because orange to me is a color that I associate with sunset, sunrise. It's a color of hope to me. So if I see a beautiful sky, it just makes me feel happy to be alive. And when I think about orange, I think also about going to Florida. And oranges are one of my favorite foods. I'm trying to also associate that with my body because when I think about healing and feeling good, orange doesn't particularly come to mind, but I think that's super important. When I think about politics, I have absolutely no interest in any sort of political discussion because for me, either I agree with you and we just say what we both already agree with, and that's rather dull, that's not actually communicating. And if we don't agree with one another, all we're doing is waiting for our chance to talk. So for me, I vote, I care, but politics and the whole shenanigans that's going on is not really interesting to me. So, thank you.
For participating. I don't know if we have a time for one more person or not. Are
We
done?
do, we do have one time for
We do.
one more person.
All right.
Yeah.
One love for you.
Hit that one.
Okay, I laugh at this because are you a single guy?
I'm a single guy.
For me, the ideal relationship is it's a real thing.
Oh, this is
Wow.
interesting.
Relationship.
All right, tell us, Kevin.
I probably have a couple relationships in my life. With my parents and my family, and then also with my dog, which is probably the easiest and best relationship I have going. I have a 4-year-old dog, his name's Max, and he's a great guy. The best thing I ever did was I got him trained when he was probably 10 months old. And it wasn't cheap, but it was probably the best money I spent because now I'm reaping the rewards for it. Because he listens to me, he doesn't talk back, and he's pretty easy to control. When I leave him at home all day, he doesn't chew on my couch or doesn't chew my shoes, and it's a one-way relationship. Selfishly, right? Which is what we want. I have to do a couple things. I take him out during the day, I feed him, and it's pretty easy. So right now, having that relationship in my life makes life a little bit easier.
Good.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Rob.
Our Toastmaster back to the floor.
Fun and interesting table topics questions. So Charles, let's get into the evaluation portion of our meeting. Come up and tell us how we did.